Good evening. Welcome to the Dice Gods. My name is Hydra, and we're live again. It's Monday night, which means I've got a lot of admin to do because the stream's just started and I don't have Streamlabs, so I have to do it all manually. It's very exciting. So just bear with me while I do the stuff, because I have to do stuff to like tell people that it's going on and that we're here and all that kind of stuff. So that's very exciting. Although we're making some adjustments. We've got better titles to stuff now, which is pretty cool. And like auto thumbnails, which is also pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Slightly biased, but there we go. Alright, but no, don't post it to everybody, just post it there. That's great. Ooh, there's my face. Oh, that's good. There's Twitch. Twitch is going. YouTube. Oh, evening, bud. Hello. Yeah, we're now in chat everywhere, which is fab. How are you, the Bionic Man? Are you fully functional after your adventures today? Right. I don't like that like that. I don't like that. That's better. I have much to figure out with all this stuff. See why streamers put music on. Anyway, Neil, how are you? How's your ECG? I have hit the itchy phase. This is slightly inconvenient, but all went well. I take it that as I say, you're now part of the Bionic crew. Sticky pads are annoying. They are, but it's a free wax, very specific, localized wax, but a free one nonetheless. And they come off 40-year-old virgin all over again, my friend. Something to look forward to. Peak smoothness. If I can say one Moisha's best is the best army. Oh yeah. You're a brave soul. Why are they the best army? Because I used to play them. That's what makes them the best. Good. I'm glad you are well, Neil. This is good to hear. I am pleased to hear it. So how is everybody else? What's going on? We know Neil's now bionic, which is lovely. You got your chest shaved. That's a comedy moment missed. They could have gone straight for the, but they went for the. It's just annoying. That's just disappointing, I have to say. Yes. What goes on? Does that mean you're getting lots of hobby done if you're now sort of, I assume you're having to chill if you've got like everything attached, which is good. And yeah, are you getting ready for the Saturday night shenanigans? Have you got everything painted? Are you ready to roll? You're up against Sven, I think. Very exciting. Right, anyway. What are we doing tonight? We're doing all sorts of stuff tonight. I have a list down here. There's like 6 things on it. So that's quite cool. We're going to talk about hobby stuff first of all, and just check in and see how everyone's done. If you are a member and you're not on the Discord, you should be, because we're getting lots more stuff through there. I think there's like 30 people on Discord now. Is my volume okay, by the way? Am I loud enough? I should listen. I don't know. I adjusted some settings. It should be quite shouty now, hopefully. Let me know. I literally sat down for 24 hours. Then there is no excuse, Neil. I'm expecting great things from your O12. I'm expecting multiple miniatures painted to a studio level standard of peak awesomeness, or I should be grossly disappointed. I have to say. Let's be said. It's very quiet. Right. Thank you. Sound level. Right. I've got to be honest. When one says it's great and the other one says it's quiet, it's very confusing. I'm not that bright to start with. When you say 2 different things, let's just take this and push that way. Right, I've pushed the output up a bit. Hopefully, that will be a bit more chunky. Song Steel, is that better? Am I more epic now? I hope so. I should be. The rec has been started. Neil, that's what happens when you ask a group of people what you should paint. They pick the biggest embuggerance and the largest possible thing, go do the big thing. I've learnt this, you don't do that. You don't ask people what to paint because it's always the other thing. Yeah, Yeah, but Sven. Sven is a fantastic human being, and it's just an awesome example of peak mammal. It has to be said. You're painting good. Your poor is a nice chance to get to know. He's the nicest of human beings. He really is. You know when you meet somebody you're like, I like you. He's one of them. Maybe you're a bit further away from some of us. It's clearly that. Song Steel, where are you in the world? What is your geographic location? Glad that's better. Where are you in the known universe? Yeah, what am I doing on Saturday? I think I'm teaching newbies for a change. I think that's my whole thing on Saturday. I know everybody now. Maybe some more echo and epic music to be more epic. This face is all the epic I need. No, there you go then. The thing is, I like tags. I have many tags, too many tags, reasonably. So I always have tags to paint. It's, yeah. I've got quite a few of them done, to be fair. I say that, but like I have 2 Murets, and I've done the base, sort of started to do the base coat on one of them, but I haven't even really got my teeth into it because, to be honest with you, because it's a CO cast one, and I know the chest piece is sort of messed up, and it kind of takes the sort of the passion away from it when you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have to paint around that and make that look good somehow. Is what it is. Is what it is. So who's painting along tonight? I assume, Neil, that you are on the Wrecker and it's in hand. You're in the abyss of the US. You're in Ohio. That's the thing. You're so far away, mate. I'm going to have to sort of project. I'm going to get sort of Shakespearean at you so you can hear. It's quite a distance. The wires, they don't carry it so well. It's a problem with the volume. I'd love to blame that one on Trump, but it's purely distance on that one, clearly. But politics this early. Here we are. So yeah, what are we going to talk about tonight? So hobby we're doing. We can talk about the great site outage of the weekend. If anyone noticed that from Corvus Belly, what were they doing? We know what they were doing, but anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about an interview that I've got coming up, another one that I'm hoping to get coming up, a new series that's coming up that's been teased to Discord. You guys had a little bit of a hint about that, what was coming there. We can talk about some stuff that's going on with Eldfall, and if you don't know what Eldfall is, we're going to talk about that a little bit too, because you should know. Yeah, and I'm thinking about giving something away tonight. I know, right? I have plans. It's going to be great. The idea is to sort of hang around for a couple of hours. Neil, too soon. My goodness, it's the start of September and you expect the new ITS season to drop already. We've got till December, mate. It's going to be a Christmas present. We have to have at least 2 months of the new season before Corvus Belly drops the actual PDF with the new missions in. Oh, you sweet summer child. How naive. Dear Lord. Next thing you know, you'll be expecting those to be right first time and not have glaring issues. Anyway. Controversial? No. Just been playing the system too long. I have a box over there, my TO box, which has all like the bits and pieces left over from events and all the pens and bits of paper and stuff that I use as a TO. And I went through that earlier on this year just to sort of tidy it up. And there was a ITS code from ITS 7, so from 10 years ago. That was exciting. What a wonderful world it would be. Yes, wouldn't it just? Right first time. Never catch on. We'll never catch on. So, yeah. I mean, so there's various points at which I am sort of loosely connected to the Corvus Belly world, and it's really interesting to see the stuff that comes out from those various angles. I was talking to somebody who shall remain nameless today about some stuff that will also remain nameless. But one of the team over there disappeared for a period of time and just didn't tell anyone. At CB, they're kind of a central member of the team, just disappeared. Great. Just hope you weren't waiting for anything from them. We were. Anyway. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about Eldfall. I'm going to do it because of the wonderful things that they do. because in addition to being a Warcore for Corvus Belli, I am a Guildmaster for Free Company for Eldfall. So we're going to talk about that too. You've said it now, it's going to happen. It's entirely your own fault, Yep. Mana. Yeah, manana. Yeah, don't. Anyway. It's really funny because there's certain people that I've dealt with inside of Corvus Belli who are on it like Sonic. And you ask a question, it's like, bang, there's your answer. They're straight back at you at head height and like, what else do you need? And then there are other people that are connected or within the organisation that you're like, hey, could I get something? Not so much. Glorious. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's only their job. I'm in there. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. This is your weekly sales specialist. Get your wallet ready. Should we start with Eldfall then? Shall I start with Eldfall? Because I've got some Eldfall around here. I've not painted most of it. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to look to my right and I'm going to go, Lilith, can I show some of your miniatures to the stream? I got a wry smile. I think that's not sleeping on the sofa if I do. So, if you haven't seen Eldfall, let's talk about what Eldfall is first. So, Eldfall is Fantasy Infinity N3. Literally, that's it. The guts, the inner workings of this thing are, by confession of Free Company who makes the game, they are Infinity. And it's kind of around the N3 sort of territory, although there's things that have just turned up in N5 that have been in Eldfall for a while. So it's kind of, there's a cross-pollination type thing. Do I accept kidneys? Yeah, kidneys, firstborn children, anyone I can send up a chimney, it's fine. If you've got a really small wife that can do chimneys, I do that too. It's fine. Slave to the plastic crack. Well, this is plastic resin, so it's not actually technically plastic resin. I think it's plastic resin anyway. Let's see how this looks on. I need to go there. No, I don't need to go there. I need to go here. Can we see this? Okay, all you need to know about this is a murder elf. We can talk about quite a few murder elves tonight, but this is one of them. So, I think we're up to 5 factions inside of Eldfall now. And they're all unicorn miniatures. So they are beautifully detailed. I mean, you can see the detailing on the wings and stuff like that. The texture that's on there is standard. A little bit of bend on that spear that someone, me, needs to sort out. Can you see the tiny little fingers on her hand there? The detail on these is so crisp. It's so beautiful. They are, in many ways, as intimidating as Corvus Belli's miniatures to paint because they're so pretty. And yeah, you've got just a white, I mean, I'm being pretty scrappy with mine. I'm probably going to start them again. But this is one of mine. Just trying this scheme out. Going for the winter white and the red. And it's just a bit basic at the moment. But this isn't on a Taoshi for Soga. She has won me many games. She is literally fire across the board, batter the snot out of the enemy until they stop doing the thing. Love them to bits. They're great. They are really, very good. Stacey was just heavy. Oh, lovely paint job, Lilith. That's from Neil. You got a thumbs up. So, how does it play? So it's much smaller scale than Infinity. So you tend to have, technically at the moment it's about 3 miniatures, but it's going to be 4 or 5 miniatures that you'll have depending on your faction. So some factions will have less, some will have more. But an average is sort of 4, shall we say. And it's crazy because you can buy like the entire collection at the moment is only just over €200. That's all of the 4 main factions and their expansions. You can get that for that, which is just bonkers. It's a D20 system, activation-based system, but it's not done with orders. It's done with activations set by your stamina of your individual miniature. So a miniature will have 2 stamina, gives it 2 sets of activations, and it's like Infinity. So you can do move, shoot, move, spell, move, close combat, whatever. Did I mention I'm open to painting commissions for certain pretty miniatures? Yeah, that's so kind for you. Oh, Neil, you're a very nice human being, but if you side with my wife's painting over mine, I'll ban you on principle. Just because you're right doesn't mean to say I have to like it. Although she's got one that's work in progress over here, so I can show you that. I don't mind that because that's not as perfect as mine. You see, isn't it? It's just work in progress. Not yet done, but still, just glorious miniature. Really are. And as you can see there, if we put them next to an Infinity miniature, whoop. So that's a Hatamoto there, one of the new Hatamotos. They're still slightly bigger, slightly grander in scale, which is cool. For such detailed miniatures, it's a must. And they do go quite big, actually. This is some water golem. Quite a chunky boy. Not the biggest. There are bigger ones in this range. But yeah, they're really, really funky. I'm technically currently the Dutch champion because I won the first Dutch tournament for Eldfall. So go me. You're in the presence of greatness. Go frickin' me. Anyway. They are great sculpts, and because they're unical, what you see in the artwork is what turns up in the box, and it's very little cleanup, and they're just crisp, you know, they're just beautiful. Maybe the odd slight kink here and there, but nothing that a bit of warm water and gentle convincing can't resolve. So yeah, we had a tournament over here. That was really cool. I have to say it's a really fun game because it's smaller scale. The game takes around an hour, which, I mean, the thing is you can bash out a game of Infinity in about 2 hours. That's absolutely true. But you'll know that you've played a game. Eldfall I find much more relaxing, much more chill. There's a little bit more referencing and diving into books because you have like skills that individual miniatures have, and you're like, okay, what does that actually mean? You need to go into the book and check that, because it's not as clean or as unnested, shall we say, as Infinity is. It also has cards, so yeah, each miniature has a card with its skills and stuff, which works really well. So yeah, it's a good system. Do you in Unicorn Clogs? Why would I have Unicorn Clogs? Because I'm in the Netherlands. Vaguely racist, young man. I'm very disappointed at you. But yeah, it's a really cool system. So what we wanted to talk about, with that is, so there's a tournament system like that, akin to what we have with ITS and all that sort of stuff. They just did an update a couple of days ago, 3 days ago. And they've updated competitive playing, which is really interesting because one of the things they've done is we now have something called a recovery check. So if you have a miniature that is incapacitated, unconscious, Infinity unconscious, during the end phase, they can stand back up. And if you have a buddy stood next to them, you can re-roll that stand-up check, which is pretty cool. It can be very violent like Infinity, so where you have a smaller number of miniatures and they still die, not quite as, but almost as quick as they do in Infinity, or can be knocked down, shall we say, can be incapacitated. The ability to bounce back up is really, really potent and really, really cool. And I have to say, as a response to something that they were seeing inside the system and the feedback they were getting from the community, it's a really, really good sign. That the company, Free Company, is listening and responding to the experiences of players and proactively getting involved and making changes when it's needed. It's really, really lovely to see. And I have to say, every interaction I've had with them as a company and with their system as a whole has been this really, really, really positive one, you know. There's certain skills that when I first saw them, the feeling was kind of like, that's a bit overpowered, maybe that isn't too fun, maybe that's a little bit, And I pushed it back into the developers, and they're like, well, no, you're new. Your community is new. So at the moment that feels overpowered. And what will happen is people will adapt and they'll change, and that will sort of reduce the efficacy because there's ways of dealing with that particular skill set, and it will evolve. And yeah, I can see what they mean. I can see the route to doing, so I've got a bug over there that's just annoying me. I can see the route of how you can get to the point of countering that, and that being something that the community adapts to. So it wasn't kind of it's not broken. It was like, yeah, I see how you feel it's broken, but if you do this and this and this, actually it's not. And yeah, they're a really positive company. So seeing them take feedback and be like, actually, yeah, you do drop quite quickly, and that can sort of reduce the length of the games, and especially in a tournament situation. So bringing this feature, I think, is a really cool way of doing stuff. And more power to them for it, to be honest with you. It's nice to see a nice responsive, sort of happy company that's happy to take on that feedback sensibly and respond to it properly. What did I win? I won. I want to scroll. I want to scroll to say that I won. And I won one of the new miniatures, a limited edition miniature, and some dice as well, some D20s. So I think exactly the same sort of tournament pack concept that you get for Infinity, just for L4. They're doing the same thing. In fact, it's sat over there somewhere. Sat down here. There we go. You even have tournament packs like this. So, yeah, beautiful miniatures in there. Anyway, stop drooling. So, warm water and gentle comfort, yes. Xenophobia, actually, yes. Well, I'm glad you clarified up that it wasn't racism, but it was in fact xenophobia. That's so much better. Appreciate that. So yeah, Eldfall's definitely one to check out, and I think with the price point that it comes in at, it's really strong. You can kind of dip your toe into it. It's a 3x3 table as well, so there's not as much terrain and stuff like that. It's just a really, really good thing, and I want to do more of it on the channel, to be honest with you. But it's so many hours in a day, unfortunately. But we will be at some point. There will be more Eldfall on the Dice Gods, because if you like Infinity and you want something that's similar, because I don't know about you guys, but if I try and wander off from Infinity, I find that there are so many elements in the system that I miss. And I don't want everything to be as crunchy as Infinity, because that is just exhausting. Infinity can be absolutely knackering. Having a system that has the same infrastructure, the same bones as Infinity, but isn't as heavy, isn't as crunchy, is so nice. Because it's like, yeah, I've still got the same kind of agency and the same kind of control, but I'm not working STEM hard, to be honest with you. Anyway, how does the Dungeon Crawler play? I've heard good things. The problem with the Dungeon Crawler was that there was Evening in Gear. Is that how I say your name? In Gear? I'm saying it in that way. It's either that or you're going to be Dave. The Dungeon Crawler from Free Company for Eldfall was delayed because of issues with transporting it across to Europe and the rest of the world due to all the tariffing stuff that's been going on in the US. And it's just delayed and pushed back and all this kind of stuff. And it's caused a little bit of stress. But they're starting to get into the hands of people now. I didn't actually go for one. I was going to, but I chose not to in the end because I had other things that I wanted to invest in. And of course, having massive regret about that and should have got one. But right now, as we'll talk about later, there's other things coming in, so I don't have the funds to pursue it right now. So I guess I'll see if I can get one on the second-hand market later. But it's supposed to be good. I'm hearing good things. So we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, anyway, Eldfall. If you haven't tried it, if you haven't looked at it, you absolutely should. Owe it to yourself. Do it. You'll love it. And it won't cost you a lot of money, which is great. So that's that. Has anyone actually tried Eldfall, or am I the lone wolf on this particular one at the moment? That reminds me, I needed to check to see whether I'd heard back from someone. No. Yeah, disappointing. I'm waiting for the nod on something, but we shall see. So, right. I'm going to put a target up. I think that's right. I don't know. This is probably not going to work. I'm going to stick it on for 2 hours for the time we're here. If we can hit this. Ba-ba-ba-bam. We're going to try this because you're supposed to set goals, so now we have one. How will you know you've missed it if you don't set one? Spaceship Right, we'll come to Asheron's Fall in a minute. You had a demo. Right, so I've just set a target because I can. 5 super chats, and we'll give away. If you've seen the review, if you haven't seen the review, you should do, and I'll post a link to it in the comments for later. But the Sorcermen STLs for the Objective Room for Infinity and the Objectives Pack for Infinity, I did a review of that a little while back, and a lot of people were really excited about it. If we can get those 5 super chats in, I'll give that away. I'll give those 2 away. Get those STLs and give them out to whoever. I'll do a random draw between the 5. So we get those 5 super chats. One of you will win that. Okay. Fine. Thank you. That's thank you very much. That's very much appreciated. Neil, that's great. But yes, I'll give away those 2 STLs because they're fantastic and I rate them highly, and yeah, it gives them some love and you some love, and everything is good with the world. So yeah, that's 1 of 5. That's amazing. Neil, it just completely threw me out then. Thank you so much. Is there any news on Asheron's Fall? I heard some bits and pieces, and I know, or I believe it was at the Interplanetario this year, but I think it's still kind of in process. I don't entirely, thank you so much for getting the ball rolling. I appreciate that. I don't entirely know where it was going. The problem is, I saw it at the Interplanetario a couple of years back, and it didn't really wow me, which doesn't mean to say that it was bad. I don't think it is, but it reminded me of the fleet version of Star Wars, whose names I've completely forgotten. Like big ships rumbling around and measures and stide and blah 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 blah, and lots of faffing, which is great. Hey, Dean! Woo! Good evening, welcome, my sandal-wearing friend. It's good to see you. Yeah, it very much reminded me of that kind of system, and that just doesn't wow me. It doesn't inspire me. There are lots of people who are very hyped about it, but you know, when you're kind of like, yeah, when it comes up, we'll talk about it, but it wasn't really like wowing me. So yes, I will dig it. I will look into it though. I'll see if I can get any information from CB for you on where that one is. Because why not? We can ask the question. Maybe it's just around the corner. You never know. We shall see. Yeah. So you had a demo. The starters. So we're talking about Eldfall Chronicles, if you haven't heard already. So the starter sets are incredibly good value to buy in on, because you get the 2 factions. If you go to the starter boxes, you get 2 factions with dice and rules and all this kind of stuff. It's a really, really good starter set. And the rule book that comes in the box, there's only one of them, but that is the rule book as stands. And it's really great. The only things you really need to add to that are the upgrade decks, because there's a degree of, if there's a degree of sort of D&D type elements that enable you to customize individual characters, so you can give them like extra upgrades that give them extra abilities, or extra equipment that give them extra stuff. So if you get those 2-player starter sets, you have loads to start the game and practice the game with and learn it and really take up to a kind of high level. And at the tournament, there were people who were only running miniatures from the starter boxes. So that's how good they are. They are phenomenal. I am, however, incredibly gamey, so I took some stuff that wasn't in the starter box, and that's why I won. It wasn't why I won. I won some amazing, but okay. I'll actually ask Free Company for Eugene and see if there's a reason why it's hard to get, whether there is a there's an easier way to get it. I don't know. I do not know. But it's worth it. It's worth tracking down. And it's just that kind of... I got one box, one of the 2-player starts. There's two player starter sets with different factions in, of the 4 main factions. And I got one of them. And then I got the other one within like a week. because they're really good. It just works. They're just nice. So pretty good UK stock. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine it's a good system, and it's worth. I kind of want to give it love. I want to kind of give it more energy. Gene Dean, I love you dearly, but it's America. You're weird out there. We have it with all the colonies. You're very strange people. The Australians are the same. Very weird. I mean that in a loving way, clearly. But yeah, cool. So that's Eldfall. I'm not going to talk any more about Eldfall, otherwise I'm just going to get incredibly... Yeah, Thelian is so nice. No, stop it. Sand Kingdoms are the most expensive one. Sorry, Blissful Badger. It's a thing. If that's Infinity, Infinity does that. You're like, oh, I'll just get one army. I really will. You won't. I go through a period of like building up an inhumanly large number of armies and then selling them all. And just cut back to a reasonable amount. I think I'm back to 4 at the moment, maybe 5. I was up to 9 at one point. That was silly, clearly. Anyway. But yeah, Thelian, which you just saw over here, those are Lilith Place Thelian. So they are beautiful miniatures and they are really, really fun to play. They can walk through walls, which is brilliant. So your enemies kind of like deploys in a way that they think they've got safety from you and all the rest of it. Your assassins can't get there, and then you just go whoop through the wall and chink straight in the back of the head. Literally, there is a skill for stabbing people in the back, which you can become incorporeal, walk physically through them, and then stab them in the back once you've gone through them. Clearly, it's a good idea. So, Thelian are brilliant. Although I play Soga because I have no soul, really. That's the main reason. That's the only reason. We love them. Anyway, enough Eldfall. Right, what else do we have to say? So we've got some fun stuff coming up. Let's talk about some stuff coming up for the channel. Later on this month, we have the release of the new Infinity book, Death Song by Gabriel Miller. And I'm going to be sitting down with Mr. Miller in the next coming couple of weeks to do an interview where we're going to talk through the new book and the process of it and his experience with Infinity and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of wonderful things. So channel members and patrons, there will be a post going up for you guys in the few days leading up to that interview. And if you have any questions that you want me to put to Gabriel, then whack them on there, and I will ask them for you and see what he has to say. So I write fiction too, so I'm kind of looking forward to the sit down chat and chewing over. I'll try not to make it too geeky and boring, but it's really interesting to see what Corvus Belli is doing now in rolling out more fiction and expanding the lore and the universe around the main system for Infinity. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's done, and I'm hoping we're talking about maybe me getting hold of a digital copy before we do the interview. So I'm hoping to read at least some, if not all of it, prior to that interview and maybe do a review and stuff like that. So we will see. We will see. It's certainly interesting. Have any of you guys read any of the existing Infinity fiction that's out there? Because I think there's 4 books, 5 books now. I don't know, probably 3 now that I've said that, but there's several. Does anyone read them? I haven't yet, which is a terrible confession. I need to. They're on the list. So, Neil, you're welcome. Mrs. Neil, sorry. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that'll be coming up, and then we'll actually drop the interview with Gabriel. That will happen on the 23rd, which is the launch day for the book. So I'm going to do a special episode, 23rd of September. We're going to sort of, have a nice chat with the man himself. And then, any questions you guys have, members have, then give them to me and I'll put them to the man himself and we'll see what he says. So there's that. I'm working through my list. There's going to be a better way of doing this. There will be. Right. What's next? We're going to talk about the new series that is coming to, having done Eldfall, we are going to move to the new series that's going to start arriving on the Dice Gods. Just check There's plenty of stuff in there you have to read, let's be honest. There's plenty of stuff in there. I've got all the books over there and I haven't read all of it. Very, very chunky. But it should be this week that the first video will drop. We are going to properly do a Warcrow series. So many of you may know that we did lots of videos from Warcrow at the end of last year when it initially launched with the Winds from the North and the initial sort of expansions, and as it started to grow. And then we kind of stopped because, as I've said before, there were challenges in what we could realistically say. You know, there is a finite amount of times you can say, well, we can't play a full game yet because they haven't released the miniatures, but these are really exciting. And I kind of want to do battle reports and stuff for it and show the game in action, because I think that's where it shines. Because when you talk about a war game that uses cards and it uses proprietary dice and it's got some elements of like a board game with it and it's on a 3x3 table, and it doesn't sound that... It doesn't necessarily sound that exciting, but when the game is in action, when it's actually being played, it comes to life. The narrative side of things comes through, the way that, you know, the interactions happen. Indeed, I remember, and I'm glad that they did. It's a good system. So actually seeing it live is way more powerful, I think, than the game is good, here is the box. We're going to do that too, because, you know, we are. But so probably starting this week, we are going to have the Traveller's Guide to Warcrow, which is going to include everything from what is Warcrow, how you get into the game, all the way through to this is how you play it. Hopefully we're going to do some history of the main factions as well. So you can have a bit of a guide to what they're about and what each one does, because there's 5, technically 6-ish factions inside of... So I have a sleeping dog behind me. You have 5 main factions that all have their own unique lore and feel and look and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to cover that too, and then we're going to do some battle reports, and we're going to be doing that with the Song of the Dormant, the new 2-player starter box. Now I'm hoping that we're going to have some of those to give away. It's not confirmed yet. It's one of the things I'm waiting on CB for, but I'm hoping we're going to have some Song of the Dormant boxes to give away to you guys, to be honest with you. So we'll do a whole set of videos, and if you watch and you comment, you'll be entered into a draw, and then somebody gets a free copy of the box. We will see. We'll see how that happens. But so that does mean that when that drops, which will probably be, I think, early next week, that should drop. We'll see. Awesome Contaminator. It's such a good system. You should be juiced for it. It's a fantastic one. But we should get the game in next week, and then it's going to be doing the initial unboxing and then sort of general review of Song of the Dormant. So we're going to do that, because there are some things that concern me. I will be honest, there are. It is Unicall and CEOcast, so there's a blend of the two. As I understand it, it's about 40% Unicall and about 60% CEOcast, and CEOcast has issues. There's no sugarcoating that, it does. So I want to see how they come out. And then, yeah, do those initial sort of tranche of reviews and stuff. Then it's going to be building and painting and putting those together, which we may do some painting stuff. I'm tempted to actually do some live streaming on Twitch of painting. I don't think I'm necessarily that good, but I think it's a good opportunity to sort of chat and chill and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's fun. Speaking of which, if you haven't followed us on Twitch, you absolutely should. It's a thing you should definitely do. There's the channel, so that you can follow us on there, because it's a good call. And then when we do things like painting, because I'll do that either there rather than live streaming it on YouTube, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Then, yeah, we may do some painting, but we're also going to do how to play and tactics, and as I say, sort of faction focuses, but light version of the faction focus for this initial sort of series, and then cap it off with games and battle reports and stuff like that. I'm lucky in the local community here, there are a lot of people who have Warcrow and don't paint it. Play it. Don't play it. So I know that I certainly have a player who has Sienna, So wood elves, but not like normal wood elves. There's a northern tribe, so orcs, but not like normal orcs. I have hegemony, which is the humans, but not like normal. You get the idea. And then feudum is going to the guy that is going to be helping me with this. So you guys are going to meet Problem. Problem is a good friend of mine and local player. He's going to be taking on feudum, which is kind of like the knights and all that good stuff. And then I'm going to be taking on the Scions of Yaldabaoth, also known as Death Elves, which is perfectly normal. That's a phrase you can absolutely say, and it's fine. So I had the joy the other day of ordering husks, which are essentially zombies, because, you know, Death Elves, it's reasonable. So that's all going to be coming. That's all going to be coming onto the channel and going out to you lovely people. And good evening, Icebearman here. Good to see you. Feels very shadow and bone to me. Yeah, I can see that. I don't mind me just building IS2 while listening. Good, that's good. So Icebearman is another local player, and he is taking part in the Bolt Action Escalation League, and he has some work to do because I expect painted miniatures in my Escalation League, young man. Anyway, as you can see, I'm a perfectly unhinged TO, as it should be. Yeah, G&D, I get the Shadow and Bone type concept behind it. What I like about Hegemony is that, so when Hegemony first came out and they had the Black Legion within it, I was like, yeah, I've got this. Xenophobic humans who are the bad guys. I've seen this before. I've seen this trope before. I know all about this. And then they dropped it, and it was actually that Hegemony is probably the most advanced forward-thinking society, and it has elves, and it has dwarves, and it has the people that are being outcast from other societies come into Hegemony, and they form this very progressive, very forward-thinking, very, yeah, good community. And I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. When you call them Black Legion, that they turn out to be good guys. And then we got, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a war rig in a minute. Because that's very, very nice. Boop. Good evening, Mr. Rogers. Always a pleasure to see you. Grundali, you asked a question about Infinity. I saw it flash up and it disappeared. Ask away. By all means, whack it in the chat. It's not a problem at all. Always happy to answer stuff. I demand to see that IS2 on table 1. Yes. I look forward to seeing the IS2 myself. IS2 should be seen more. This is absolutely true. If you have just joined the stream as well, then on YouTube, if I'm looking for 5 super chats, and when I get that, I'm giving away the STLs for the Objective Room and the Objective Pack from Saucerman Studios. So if you do those 5, whoever does the 5 super chats will get the opportunity to get those STLs. I'll do a draw of the 5, and then we'll do other stuff. Part 2, I think it's coming out. Do I know when the part 2 will be coming out? So, the straight answer to that is Grundali. The straight answer to this, sorry, a good friend of mine drops into chat and insults me. Glorious. Jamie, shut up. Right, Grundali, when will that be dropping? If I can get it organised, it's going to be this week, is the straight answer. A lot of it will hinge on, I've got a big project that I need to work on tomorrow, which I should, if I clear that through, then it absolutely will be this week. If not, it won't be next week, it'll be the week after. So pray for me that tomorrow we are, thoughts and prayers my direction, that I'm incredibly productive and kick the butt out of the project, and then I can get into that side of things or finish it off on Thursday. So, but yeah, I want to get it done. Thank you. Mr. Banfield, would I agree that I look 16 with this haircut? The fact that I can pass for 16 in my youthful, glowing way, and the fact that you find that disturbing and upsetting works for me on so many levels. It's peak, loving it. You know, I'm aging like wine, you're aging like cheese, my friend. You're kind of mouldy and drippy around the edges. It smells slightly bad, but anyway, it's good to see you. Welcome. There's another man actually who's just picked up Warcry. I know because he picked up my Warcry. It's arrived with him today. So I didn't need Northern Tribes. I did, but I didn't. I was very grown up. So he's going to have that. And you may actually see Mr. Bamfield with his sort of 65-year-old man haircut on the stream at some point. Maybe I'll get him on there for a battle report and slap him around the table for thinking I look like I'm 16. Perfectly fine. But yes, as I was saying, any super chats go towards that total and free STLs for one of you. It will be great. Yeah, it's the problem is, going back to you, Grinaldi, I've got so many things I want to do, and there's only so many hours in the day. And there is bluntly, the physical reality. I still have to work for other people at the moment while the channel is growing, which it is on a weekly basis, and I'm so grateful for. When we get to the point where I can do this and it pays all the bills, which is going to happen, I have complete confidence, then it'll be quicker, because I'll have more hours in the week and I won't need to go off and work for other people, bluntly. So when that happens. Grinaldi, that is amazing. That is exactly why I do this, and that's really great to hear. So I want to support you on your journey, and it's coming soon. I think we've got Tohar in there, so that's going to be a short conversation, but yeah, it'll be there as soon as I can, and appreciate you watching, and I'm really glad it's got you into the system, because Infinity is awesome. So, but do you get box 4? Do you have to get box 1 before box 2? Box 1 and box 2 of what? Give me a clue. I was telling people at Discord earlier that the system really works. Joe, catch up. Yes, Neil, and that really blew me away. The fact that so what 3 Bin in the Shed, aka Neil, is referring to is the Learning Infinity M5 series has a very specific process for learning to play the game. And it's sort of split down into chunks of learn this, then learn this, then learn this, then learn this. And I think you said you've done it with 6 players so far and had 6 converts. So that is a pretty kick-ass conversion rate, and I'm really, 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 really proud of that, and really, really pleased for you. I'm glad it's gone so well. I still find it incredibly weird. It's this incredible thing that, because one of the reasons, and I've probably told all of you this too many times already, but one of the reasons that I started this channel, arguably the reason I started this channel, was because I was getting really frustrated with the amount of ways in which Corvus Belli was failing to teach people to play Infinity. They have this fantastic system, and they have these great ideas for miniatures and lore and all this kind of stuff, and they just can't get people to play it. They don't seem to understand how to get somebody from what is an Infinity to playing at the Interplanetario. There is no clear vision on how that happens. And it annoyed me. It really frustrated me. It's kind of like, just stop trying to get everyone to do all the things at once. Don't just do this whole thing where you go, and there's the rest of the rules. It doesn't work. So that's part of why this channel came into being. And then we had the Infinity Academy, which was for N4, and that went really well. Lots of people use that. But I refined it with the Institute, and it's really sort of gained traction and really helped people. And Neil has, so yeah, 6 for 6 streak, which is amazing. That is, Neil, that is the problem. When you start teaching people, you start expanding and growing. You find yourself in a position where you're like, right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to teach you. Great. And you teach maybe 2 people if you're lucky at the same time. And then a week later, you're like, okay, maybe no, the 2 people who weren't last week, going to do you tonight. That's amazing. And you just end up in this constant stream. We have, in my head, I think there's 9 people at various stages of either learning or needing to upskill in my local community at the moment. And it's, earlier this summer, I just said, like, I'm going to play competitively for a while. I need to get some blood on my claws for a bit. I need to do some violence to people where I don't feel like I'm having to give them a cuddle afterwards. And that was really good. But I think we need to go back into, or I need to go back into the training phase, because it just, we grow, you know? That's how it goes. People want to get into it, and if I can help them do it, that's fantastic, which is the whole point of the channel. So Yeah, no, Gene Dean, you're right. Understanding how to teach something is a skill, and a lot of designers struggle with it. You're absolutely right. And it's having a clear vision on the system doesn't mean you can tell people how it works. And that's absolutely true. And it's just, I've done it so much now that you kind of get a sniff and a feel of it. So Infinity needs a regimented entry system. It does, and that's kind of what I built. That burp. But when Corvus Belli did it, so they did it a bit with Code 1, and they did it with the last few 2-player packs, so you had those intro books. Intended to be very professional. I'm going to be very professional. Wait there. Very professional moment. Right. The great thing is, because I've got like a mic on that's radio powered, you should still be with me. Right. And we're back in the room. So, what have we got? How many? Did I actually grab any that were useful? I did. Stone the crows. So here, right. Operation Red Veil. That's the English version, isn't it? So Red Veil had the mission system. It's very similar to mine, so I need to go to OBS for this because it's easier. So you had the mission system. This came in the 2-player box. And you literally ran, this was just 3 Gulams versus 3 Zanshis. So it was Hack versus Yu Qing. And it was just really, really basic. You just do the 3 Munchkins like I do. I did it first though, just so we're clear. 3 Munchkins versus 3 Munchkins. And then you went to mission 2 and mission 3, and it was add a little bit more in there. So Quajis and Zuyong Invincibles. And you're building out the kind of, you had the maps of how to put the terrain together as well. There was this really complex, sort of comprehensive system. The problem with these, where are we? So what they did is they got to mission 5. So this is mission 5. We added in some real teeth and stuff to the list and some real flavour. And they kind of went, and then you buy the Beyond box and everything fits together in this massive thing, and you need to buy yourself a tag, and you need to get yourself a walker, and just play. And it was kind of, you do an order, you do a shoot, you do a bit of close combat, you do a bit of camo, now do everything else. And you kind of dropped off a cliff, and they said, no, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. We've got Code 1, we're going to do Code 1 instead. That will be fine. And then Code 1 dropped, and Code 1 was even worse, because that was kind of like, here's most of the rules, not all of them, but most of them. And that was, you know, and now go. Had the same problem. I think Blackwind was the same actually. Yeah, Blackwind was the same. So, mission 3 and similar sort of concept, just to build up the same way that I do. But they just have this thing where they get to a point and they just go, you'll be fine. I still need to build out a whole load of things on the back of the Institute to finish off the stuff that I want to do with learning, but we're going to do that through tactics videos. But then we get to N5, and we get this guy, Sandtrap. And the problem with Sandtrap is that the only missions in here are actually modified ITS missions. They're not learning missions. They are take your whole force and do a violence with it, which is not really kind of, it's not what you want. Although on the back, look at that, we do have Warcry. That's always good to see. So that's the original Winds from the North. That's Lilith out of the wall. That's the original Winds of the North. So yeah, they kind of just dropped the whole thing and just went, it'd be fine, use Essentials, and then Essentials isn't really a thing. So, oh, now I need to catch up. So get on Moonstone or Eldfall. Of Moonstone or Eldfall, they're incredibly different things. Moonstone is the fantasy game that I wish I could play. If I had time, I'd play that, because I love the whimsical, crazy, bonkers nature of it. I think the miniatures are gorgeous, although they scare me in a way that even Infinity doesn't. I think the concept behind it is interesting. So there's moonstones that drop and you have to harvest them. That's the whole thing. They're underground and you have to dig them out, and that's really funky. but it doesn't really ignite my lust, which is why I haven't got into it. I had a really interesting interview with Tom, the creator of it, and his passion, his interest was just peak, but it wasn't there for me. So I'm not getting on the Gundam hype train. That's not a thing that's going to happen. Big stompy robots are very, very cool, and I love them dearly. But if I was going to do that, I would play BattleTech, and I'm not playing BattleTech. So you have to know your limits. Every day I feel less interested in GW products. Too many better ones out there. It's, yeah. GW. How do I love GW? Let me count the ways. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for GW. That was where my love for wargaming came into it. But at some point, they became solely about profit and cash and money, and less about the system, and less about the experience, and less about the community, and more about the greenbacks, the cash. It's a shame. It is a real shame. So I can completely understand why Blissful Badger. I totally get it. Enjoying Mobile Suit Skirmish. I'm not even a weeb. you are a weeb. You just don't want to admit it. Yeah, you can do it. Right. We did the railway and the biggest problem we had was the Yuching was about 50% more points each game, so Hack got squashed every time. Yeah, that box was very wonky. That box was very wonky. Although, I would not say it's because of that. I would say that the skill ceiling on playing the two was very different. So Yuching is really clear how to apply boot to face to win day, which is what the Yuching box for Red Veil very much does. Whereas the hack side of things was very nuanced, you know? I very much felt that there's a very specific way to play hack. There always has been, there still is now, and it's not as clear. There's a lot more, you need to engage in asymmetric combat, you need to pick your engagements very, very carefully, and then pursue those in ways that are much more considered than big guy with large amount of armor stands in cover and goes brr, which is kind of Yuching to a greater extent. So 60 pointers in to start games. I don't tend to use points until you're using most of the rules, Gene Dean, because the problem is that, so when you look at certain units, you're paying for really complicated and intricate skills, which only have implications in full rules. If you're going to use the full rule set, then yeah, those are absolutely worth it. But if you're not using camo, or you're not using stealth, or you're not using all of the rules, then what happens is it becomes wonky because you're not using all of those abilities. So what I tend to do is just say, right, here's 3 Muppets with combi rifles. You can keep their stat line because most light infantry is sort of between 10 and 12 on the BS fronts. There's a 10% swing from highest to lowest. We can live with that. That will be evened out to a great extent with the dice. And just go with those, and then lump a couple of guys on top, another one with a combi rifle, and then another one with a Spitfire or a heavy machine gun, because we shouldn't be on a full table, and just use the sort of thought process to get to what you should run rather than points, because I don't think that helps in this one. So Moonstone is awesome. It just doesn't... Yeah, Grenadier, I remember, so I was working with Corvus Belli at the time as a copywriter, and we were talking about this book, and I saw this book in PDF format, and I was like, where's the starter? This isn't the starter set. But it looks like a starter set, and it smells like a starter set. But it's not a starter set, and I'm very confused. And it's a conversation that I had at the time, because it doesn't make a great deal of sense, because when you look at Sandtrap, what's in Sandtrap, the terrain and the dice and the tokens, veterans don't need it. We have that. Thank you very much. I mean, to be honest, I do use the cardboard terrain that was in the box, but I don't have to, I just like to. I think it's the nice aesthetic, but I don't really need to. I don't use the tokens. I'm giving them away on Saturday, actually, I think to Yap, who's probably still in there somewhere. But the dice, I think I've got, yeah, in fact, I'm sat next to some of the dice from Sandtrap. They're sat here. They're going to a new home at some point. Don't need those. I needed the miniatures. That was it. Didn't even really need this book. Don't care about this book. I think I flicked through it once just to go, why didn't they put rules in there? That's as far as we went with that one. But for a new player, you're like, oh, this is amazing. Everything's here. Apart from the stuff that I need, like the rules. And then you look at the quick start rules and they don't work with a lot of the units that are inside Sandtrap, because a lot of the things that are inside Sandtrap, to get the points value, you need to use the full rules, which the quick start rules don't really do. So then you go into the meat grinder of, right, here's the rule book, 300 odd pages of, oh my God, in the face. It will never make sense. It will never make sense. Your head is melted at the moment, but that's standard. That's why we love you. So it's Arcgrove Fancy. Yeah, I think that's correct. Now, Steel Reft may be better than Battletech, but I have spent vastly too long playing Mech Warrior Online, and I grew up when I was younger. Didn't grow up, I was already old, let's be honest. I played Mech Warrior 2, played Mech Warrior 3, Mech Warrior 4. Huge fans of them, massively. So if I'm going to do Stompy Robots, I'm going to get a Bushwhacker, because a Bushwhacker is peak mech. Absolutely. I'm taking no questions. That's just a statement. That's kind of it, to be honest with you. But I know there are better systems than it out there, and there are issues with Battletech, but the love is too deep. Yeah, GW, getting people hooked since 1975. Yeah, God, 1987, first GW product went into this brain. Anyway, Battletech. I played a game of it 20 plus years ago, still traumatized mathematically. Yes, but there's many things that you're still traumatized by, Joe, let's be honest with you. 8 isn't that bad. Yeah. Try Alpha Strike for Battletech. Classic Battletech is crunchy. Yes, I'm hearing that. I have heard a lot. Stop it. I have heard a lot of good things about the Alpha Strike version of Battletech, and it's very cost effective, and you can just expand it with no. I'm aware. No. But it's photocopy sheet to pencil. Okay, maths. But there was a lot of bookkeeping in old school Battletech. It was a lot of work. Where's cartoons? That's the thing. What you get to, the thing that gets first in that sort of sphere is the defining thing for that kind of big stompy robots is, for me, and will always be, Battletech, because that got there first in my head. Therefore, it's the way we work. Gotta love it. Got to love it. But yes, so we have all that good stuff coming up. Warcrow's coming. It's going to be good. I'm hoping as well that I'm going to sit down and chat to my good friend Hoopu again, because I haven't spoken to her on video for quite a while, and I want to sit down and have a chat about Warcrow things. So I think that's going to be part of the Traveller's Guide. I'm going to put that in there because it's always good to get. She's just lovely. And the problem with me talking to Hoopu about Warcrow is the hour before I hit record, where we chat anyway, and I have other things to do, and then I finish it, and then we chat for even. It's a problem. But anyway. Show. Just for Badger. So Operation Sandtrap and Essential start here instead of Beyond. I mean, just for Badger. I wish there was a straight answer to that. So Essential start here will give you terrain, dice, quick start rules, and cards for a bunch of miniatures which will not fit with the miniatures in Sandtrap. They are technically Oban and generic. So if you want to move away from Sandtrap and into, sorry, the sectorials of Sandtrap and into generic versions of JSA and Pano, then yes. But it's just dumb. Don't get me started. It was just dumb. Am I working on assembling anything right now? No. What I'm working on at the moment is I'm painting stuff. So I have a league match coming up. So we have an escalation league going for Infinity at the moment. It's 20 of us. 20 of us going at it once a month for the next 3 months, having this escalation league, and I'm actually involved in that. I normally just TO, but I decided to get stuck in and play this time and have some fun. So I'm currently painting and working my way through my Shinden. So let's get there. There we go. They're starting to take shape. This one still needs a nice coat on top of him, but so the Sorcereman Studio bases, and I'm working on Hatamoto. Can he work? So he's starting to come together. And because I have the attention span of a stunned duckling, the Yamabushi as well. He's on his way too. Starting to get him blocked in. Organised. So because we have a, I have put in a process where you get a bonus objective point if you have painted 3 new miniatures since your last round, essentially. So I've got an objective point already so far for my first game, which is great because I'm up against a machine, so I don't fancy my chances. We shall see. We shall see. So that's what I'm working on right now. I've done 4 miniatures. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to go, and my game's on the 23rd. Yeah, wish me luck, Contaminator. Just doing noted, yeah. See, I have in my head that what I need to do is for people who watch the live stream later so they don't have to read the chat, is that I should read what people say, which is why I have to read out Otaku, Samurai, Super Death, Ninja Magic, Space Robot, Go Bots. Because Joe Rogers is a thing. It's a whole thing. I'm exhausted with you, young man. Anyway. Like the retro vibe the Battletech is giving right now. Yeah, the thing is, there's such a long lineage, yeah, with Battletech that, you know, there's such a long lineage that they've made missteps, and it can flavour things, and I think it's still paying for some of it now, loosely. But yeah, they'll get there. And it's, as I understand it, the new version is a good system, so that's all good. Robin, what did you miss? What did you miss? So you missed things up to, including but not limited to, the announcement that we have got an interview with Gabriel Miller, who's the writer of Death Song, coming up, which is going to go out before the release of the new Infinity book, Death Song, on the 23rd of September. So I'm going to sit down and have a chat with them, and people like you, channel members and Patreons, will get the opportunity to put questions to me to give to them beforehand, essentially. Do you know what I've just realised is that I haven't actually put this out on Patreon. I don't think I even put this out tonight. I didn't. What a munchkin. So we've just got to put this out on Patreon. Bear with me a second, guys, because, you know, I kind of have to, because the people need to know. Both. Right. Idiot. I knew there was something I forgot. Oh. So you missed, I'm going to get down to that in a second. Joe Rogers, thank you so much for the super chat. That puts us on 2 of our 5 target. If you haven't seen the target, when we've done 5 super chats, I will be giving away the STLs from Sorcereman Studios for the Infinity Objective Room and the Infinity Objective Packs to 1 of the 5 people that does that. So yes, jump on that one. Right, what else did you miss? Robin, you also missed the announcement of the Warcrow series, the Traveller's Guide, and lots of excitement and hype around that we've got that coming. The discussion of the changes to Eldfall, the fact that anyone that's effectively unconscious at the end of a round can now stand back up on a dice roll, which is kind of cool. So that, because you are an Eldfall player, and as you know, there's a habit for people to get knocked down and then just being out of the game because you can't stand them back up unless you have a medipack. Now at the end of a round you can make a roll and pop up they stand. So that does make things a lot more interesting, I think, for Eldfall. So we've done all that already. There's been a lot. I've got 2 more things on my list and 50 minutes to do it, so yay. So there's that. Love the typo. Jesus, on the videos. It's a typo of Jesus on the video. Sorry, dude. It's the putting all the names in slowly driving me. Every time it grows and changes, my life is hard. So I'm sorry. I'll amend that one. What a muppet. Tell what's on mine. Anyway, what is your favourite flavour of paint? I love you too, man. What is my favourite flavour of paint? I'm a bit partial to the Vallejo stuff, actually. Some of that is pretty tasty, but only the model colour stuff. That has got a very distinct and very tasty after. Don't eat your paint. It's very weird. But if you, like me, lick brushes, and occasionally you do it without washing your brush, Vallejo, model colour. Peak. What's my online alias? It's Hydra. And I prefer to be called Hydra online. Hydra's been my nickname since I was about 17, which is a very long time ago. So, Hydra is good. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. If I go silent, it's because I'm in a call with the clients. Look at Mr. doing business late at night over there with Neil. It's like, I'm on the phone with one of the clients now. Thank you very much. Fair play. We'll just do. If you get on a call, let us know with a little exclamation mark, and we'll do wildly inappropriate things. It'll be great. And yes, push that like button, and do consider doing super chat, because giving stuff away. I want to start giving stuff away. It's good. Easy number to go to. Well, I know. Does mean I'm probably a child somewhere between. I just remain a child. Anyway, they do, Joe. You're right. The flavour of. I think that more should be done about the flavour of paints. I think to make them worse, not to make them better, because. Aside from that moment, like, and then the fact that you kind of have a coloured in face, it's not that bad, in my opinion, and it should be worse. Right, G&G, we're going to discuss the flavours of paint now. Pro-Acryl tastes dry. I've not used Pro-Acryl, and I need to, because I've heard good things. I used P3, and yes, I'd go with that. And Citadel does. It tastes like capitalism and poor life choices. You forgot that one. That's definitely in there too. It definitely does taste of poor life choices. So that is absolutely true. Got your HVT in for 95%. Good job, Robin. Outstanding. This is what we like to hear. You have much to you. Is most of your army painted? I think most of your army is painted now, isn't it? So that's good. You're getting there. Mystery should be added, perhaps. Oof. Harsh but fair. I mean, you know, there'd be a complete disincentive to nominate anymore, which would be vaguely disappointing. You know, makes up a substantial chunk of my sort of hydration diet. Rainbow-coloured insides, but you know, never mind. All right, Hydra. Woo! Yes. I've been Hydra since I was 17, so it's kind of, when I used to play online, I used to play a lot online. Day of Defeat Source, if anybody knows what that is, shows my age. Used to be a clan leader for that, so yeah, I've been Hydra a very long time. You did Shaz in 3 months though. Yes, you are a machine at painting, and the quality of your paintwork is stunning. We need to put some of that on. You need some of that on the Discord. That needs to go on the Discord. Because at the moment it's me, and yeah, there's a few of us sticking artwork up there, and we need to do that. And if you are watching this, wherever you're watching this, and you're a Patreon or a YouTube channel member and you haven't yet, please get on the Discord. There is one of the latest posts on YouTube, and one of the latest posts on Patreon has the link to get you to the Discord. So please come, we're nice, have conversations, it's great. you can enjoy lovely Neil waffling away like a maniac all day. He chats, my God, it's joy. And Kaz and me and everyone else. It's good. It's good. It's. I'm really impressed actually because I'd set up so there is a story, but I'd set up a Discord before when I sort of decided I was going to do this. I was like, I'm going to set up Discord and everyone can come in. And I set it up and then I forgot about it. And then I did it properly and set up a separate Discord that you had to be invited to and all that kind of stuff and forgot about the first one. And somehow people were finding what it turned out, the original one. So I was like, well, no one's using the Discord. It's very disappointing. And then I realised that they were all going to the old one. Which is awkward. So we've shut that one down now and it's promoted properly. I need to, there's ways I can attach it to stuff when you join that you can kind of see that you can join the link and all that kind of stuff. So I need to do that. I need to get that one done. But it's only me, and there's only a certain number of hours in a day, so, you know. There we go. So, yes. Technical moment there. I was there, Gandalf, a year ago. Yes, you were. Gene Dean, you have been here a long time. Ingir, lovely to chat to you too, my friend. I will get that information for you if I can regarding Acheron Falls, and I will make that available to you. Good, sir. Genuine pleasure. I'll be back here next week, so please do come along and join in the anarchy, fun, whatever this is. Be here. It's great. Yes, so Warcry books. There's all that, and the reminder that if you haven't already, don't do that one. That's the wrong button. You love that. The absolute professionalism of it. Don't forget, if you haven't, do follow along on Twitch as well, because I need to get numbers up there because I want to do painting over on Twitch too. Hey, Mr. Sexton, welcome. Good evening. Good to see you, chap. Every day's a painting kind of day. Every day's a painting kind of, unless I'm talking to you lot, in which case it's not, but, you know, it's one of those things. What are you on to painting next, Chris? Right, I need to go there. As you can tell, we're completely professional at all this. I've got like, I know what I need to get. There's a whole load of things I need to get. Like I need to get the StreamMate software so that I can do like the pre-running and I can get everything launched everywhere. So when I come here, I can just be all professional and stuff. But it's all time and energy and I haven't done it. So I know what you mean. Your paint just is a bomb site. So I have actually, over my shoulder here, I have a paint desk. But you see how much rubbish is on there? It's because I paint here and watch stuff on Netflix when I'm doing it. Other streaming services are available. And actually I mostly watch other streaming services because at the moment, if you haven't done so already, Alien Earth on Disney Plus. Oof. Hello. This is good TV. This is good alien stuff for once. And where are you? As we can see from my good friend here, Alan. I'm an Alien fan. And actually this was purchased for me by Mr. Joe Rogers. Alan is still with me, Jay. So go back up there, buddy. You sit there. So yeah, huge Alien fan. So Alien Earth is being watched at the moment, which is incredibly bad when you're trying to paint. And that stuff's happening. Joe, thank you for popping along and saying hello on Twitch as well as on here. All over the place. It's very, very bad because it's very, very good TV and I'm really enjoying watching it. But then when you're trying to paint and you're like, you just get completely distracted. Yes, Alan the Alien is still here. But yeah, so I mostly sit here. So even though I have my lovely paint station over there, I have like a huge pile of paints just here that are next. That's not even half of the stuff, and everything gets brought over here and then I paint, which really annoys Lilith because I've got like a painting light over there and then I put the big light here so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm not the best husband in the world, but I am adorable and I do have the haircut of a 16-year-old, so you know, there's that to be said for things. There is definitely that to be said for things. And I want to touch on as well, a lot of nomads. Just got everything. Nice. Tunguska is definitely the way to go. Definitely the way to go. They're a very, very cool faction. And I keep like thinking, so I have Tunguska and I'm like, maybe I should get rid of it and get something else because I've had it for a while and I'm not playing it that much. And then I look at them in the box and I'm like, yeah, but it's cool. That is really cool. Papa Tactica, Hollow Men, Subnautica, the Salamander. I have 2 Salamanders, as every Tunguska player should. The new Triggerbender, interesting. They've got some really cool stuff. So Tunguska is definitely the way to go, and you're a gentleman of clear taste if you have them. I have to say, I'm not necessarily looking forward to doing the faction focus for Tunguska, however, purely down to the fact that I'm slightly biased. So doing that impartially is going to be really tough. That's going to be a really tough one. But we will see. That's gonna come at some point. We've got Bakunin to get over first, and then what's after Bakunin? Can't remember what we do after Bakunin. Might even be Kestrel. I might be just biting the bullet and getting Kestrel done. Because let's talk about the panos. It's definitely what we need. So yeah, but Tunguska is a lot of fun. I do enjoy playing them, and they're really, as a hacking focused army, they're really, really interesting and a lot of fun. And got some really surprising units. The Heckler with the Jammer and the Fast Panda is just awesome. It's just absolutely brilliant. Just build the hacking network, take him out of your make him. I love that when you've forgotten the name of the state. Isolated. Make him isolated, and then everything's good. Very, very good big kit. Do it through a wall. Love it. So yeah, there's that to be said for things. What else do we want to talk about? I have 2 more things we need to talk about. The first thing we're going to talk about, because it's really, really small, it's really, really quick. We're talking on Discord, and again, if you are a member or a Patreon and you haven't done it yet, then you absolutely should. I love that. I sent a message to everybody on Discord and it just didn't send. That's brilliant. We were talking about the Chris. We were talking about the Zonauticas. The Zons, which comes from Nomads. That's the remotes. And where they've jumped to Essentials, they've gone to just including the missile launcher of the HMG. And they used to include, back in the day, this little guy. So that's the combi rifle. So as you can see, this is the same material. This is the same, I think this is, come on, focus. Seocast. It's a Seocast combi rifle, so you could make the Stempler. So you could make the forward observer bot version of Zons, which I think is it's a really useful build, because you've got a fast moving specialist who's relatively cheap and relatively reliable, which is really, really cool. But they've just, with Essentials, because the Essentials boxes contain the cards for the units that are in the box, I guess they're only including the things that they can build, but they're actually having to adjust their sort of construction process, because this is clearly already on the sprue. So to exclude it was more work. I don't know. It's just a really weird choice, because there's now no way of getting that, because it has a little lug on the side here for connecting it to the body of the Zon. But there's no way of getting that now, which is really odd. Why they just remove that? I don't know. I guess not confusing newbies with the Essential set, I get that, but also no, just include it. It's so useful and there's no other way of getting it. Very, very strange, if you ask me. But hey, where are we at? Used the rule call list and reverse hacked my opponent last week and sent his hacker to MB for a turn. Definitely God, nicely done. Nicely done. That is the way forward. Yeah, there's so many cool ways of playing Tunguska. There's so many brilliant ways of doing it, and it's why I love that faction. It's so funky. But yeah, So I don't know why Corvus Belly have done that from a long-term perspective, because like I used to buy, there were points where I bought 2 sets of the remote boxes for various factions, because then I can build all of them, and this is great. This is the thing we have done. In fact, we have 2 sets of the Zon boxes in this house, because I did 2 of them for Lilith's army, and then 2 of them for mine, and so all 4 different versions of the Zond are built. We have all of them, they just have a different colour on them, so we can swap and change sort of thing. But the fact that you now can't do that is a bit weird, and it's some of the choices that Corvus Belli are making with their packaging at the moment doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's a little bit frustrating, a little bit weird if you ask me. But hey, they have to make sense. They're CB. That would be too easy, to be honest with you. So, other thing I want to talk about, did anybody notice that the army builder was down this weekend and bits of the website were also twitchy? I think is it still down now? No, it's back up. Infinity Army is back up. It was down all weekend, which was a real pain in the butt if you're trying to do a video and you want to put together some lists, because you can't, because you don't want to do it on the phone because that doesn't really work. But yeah, so it looks like, for those of you who haven't seen it, we have the Corvosphere, which is the new tournament manager software that they've brought out and is now online, which contains the Warcrow army builder. It's not got everything in it, but it's got a lot of the Warcrow stuff in it. There are some bits missing, which is a bit annoying, but we'll get there. And it looks like what they were doing was trying a new style for the store, because there was a point where I jumped into the store and it was all the same style as Corvosphere, and then it went away again. Very suspect. But I guess what they're doing is they're prepping the guts of army to go into Corvosphere, which is, I mean, ultimately having a universal app that covers all aspects of tournaments for Infinity, tournaments for Warcrow, Warcrow lists and Infinity lists, plus invariably marketing information, community information, articles and stuff like that. It makes sense. I can see why they would, because for so long we've had this stuff for free, bluntly. We've had the sort of free army builder and not expensive OTM. You have, sorry, tournament manager. You had to buy the tournament codes, but that was the only thing you had to pay for. So the fact they're going to couple that with sort of marketing pushy stuff now, I get that. I can see why you would, and it kind of makes sense. You should call it Corvus Square because it's not around. Harsh. I mean, fair. Yeah. I feel like Corvosphere is being beta tested on the community at the moment. I feel like it's kind of, they wanted to get it done and they've kind of smushed it out into the community and like, ta-da? And then they're going to add bits to it, which is really frustrating. This is not how you do a rollout in any way, shape or form. There should be a nice closed beta where you get, I don't know, like if you had a group of people who were really invested in your product and really invested in you, like Warcores, and you got them to test it, because like they're the people that mostly organise tournaments, before you pushed it out to everybody, that would kind of be good. Talking crazy. I know, absolutely crazy. But actually, I don't even know if the lists have come back. But they didn't do that. They seem to sort of be testing. Oh, lists are back. That's good. This is good. So the lists are actually back, because they did disappear this weekend. Because I went in, as I say, I had an Escalation League on the 23rd, and I was like, did I actually include this miniature in my list? And then, of course, I went online to look at the list, and no, I could not look. Very frustrating. But yeah, them testing on us live is a bit, it's very Corvus Belli, but it's a bit frustrating. And it would have been nice if this was kind of a, here's the product with everything in it, rather than, here's a bit, here's some other bit. What do you think? We're going to do the other bit now. I don't know, not a fan of that. Not so much of a fan of that. But that's just me. That is just me. But I did try tinkering with the army builder for Warcrow as well, and it's fine. It's not, in my opinion, as good as Infinity Army is. That could just be me being familiar with it. There is that. I'm familiar with Infinity Army. I know it's not perfect. I know a lot of people come in and struggle with it. But I think it's a good system. I think it's a good platform. I think it's reliable. I think it's, when you get your head around it, really straightforward and easy to use, whereas the Warcrow one feels a little bit like, and then you do this, and then you do that, and then you do this, and there's the information you wanted. I just wanted to click it. I want to see the information. Not allowed to do that. You have to do it this way. That is a little bit annoying. But, you know, kind of everything. Are they taking applications for war cores yet? Not that I know of. I don't think they're taking applications for war cores yet. I know there's a lot of changes. There's clearly a lot of changes going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of things moving and changing and bouncing and stuff. So, as the last I've heard, they aren't, which is not the same as they aren't. Should I ask? I'll ask the question. I'm going to ask the question whether they are changing that again, because, you know, we shall see. It would be good. There's lots of places. I've spoken to quite a few people recently that have a desire to become a war core and can't. And I get, the thing is, so 2 years ago I went to the Interplanetario, so that would be 2023. And we had a war core chat there, and they said, right, we're going to change various things. And one thing that sort of pricked my ears up is they said we're going to start doing incentives for doing videos. And I was already doing videos for Infinity. At this point, it's like, hell yeah, we can do that. But that didn't happen. That's just not occurred. And there's been a whole load of stuff that just hasn't happened off the back of that. So they are thinking about overhauling the war core system. So not bringing people when you're about to do a major update. I get that. But that was 2 years ago. And that had already kind of been, you know, delayed at that point. So I don't know. I don't know. I will give them a poke. I'll give them a poke. There's a guy called Coney who's the boss man for Warcores, and I'll ask the question, see whether he's got any insight on that one. No, it's, the PR guys are great, but they also can sometimes struggle with information, struggle with delays and getting info, which is really annoying for them and then really annoying for whoever's waiting for it. But yeah, the Warcore people, which is mostly Coney, to be honest with you, it's mostly him. So I can see why, if you're doing that on your own and you're running a group of Warcores and that's not his only job inside the company, it's going to be a bit, yeah, difficult and delayed. But he should get back to you. I'll ask the question. I have him on Discord. I'll give him a poke. I can only ask the question. He can only say, no, we're not doing it. So that I will update. I'll try and update next week, because next Monday I should do, yeah, I think next Monday we're good to do another live stream. I'm going to try and do live streams every Monday because it's interesting. I get to talk to myself for 2 hours. It's great. Coney 2025. Sorry, the dog's just woken up. Are you done? Could you lie down now? That would be great. We've got a very old dog who needs to go to sleep. And I'm clearly talking too loudly, which is a problem. Dead memes. A meme is never dead. It's just waiting to be resurrected. It's just in the zeitgeist. It's in the consciousness. It's in the soup of our culture, ready to be extracted and used again, to the confusion of everybody involved. Although, to be fair, I am getting old now, so the things that I regard as cultural touchstones are no longer either relevant or remembered. It's the Muppet. The floof is out and completely gone. The Muppet is being annoyed that I'm talking. So, like, no joke, there's not a walk-off 250. Yeah, so you really need to be a walk-off. There's no two ways about it. If there's not a walk-off 250 miles around you, then the community needs you. So, but flop it. But then, to be fair, you know, what does the walk-all system give you? It gives you access to the Discord server for walk-alls, where information is shared, so you get things a little bit earlier. And when I say a little bit earlier, in a lot of instances, it's minutes before it goes to the community. You get certain bits of feedback, you get the opportunity to ask questions and all this kind of thing. In the way of support, it's primarily that you can accrue walk-all points, but I mean, it's nice. It's a nice thank you from CB. I'm grateful that they do that and give us the ability to buy discounted stuff. You do get that, and early purchases on stuff. Is it that huge? You have that secret sale that they're doing at the start of everything at the moment, which is around the time that the walk-alls get to order stuff, so that benefit's kind of gone. And the point system for getting free stuff, the amount of stuff you have to do to get substantial amounts of free stuff is quite a lot. So that's more of a, you check it every year or so and go, oh, convenient, you know, rather than something that you count on to be able to fund your hobby, especially with the fact that Corvus Belli releases so much stuff on such a regular basis now. The amount of events you'd have to do to fund all of their releases and keep up to date with it and not pay for anything would be obscene. So it's a bonus more than it is a realistic way of keeping your hobby going. So nicknames to not dox the dogs. Yeah, they will appreciate that, clearly. I mean, my hounds are concerned with their presence on the internet, so absolutely. They're mostly concerned by the amount that I'm talking and not shutting up is the main issue, I think. But if there is a Mr. Paul Hansen at 518 Teflon Drive in Austria, it's going to get really weird for him really quickly. But yeah, so the walk-all system is more a bonus than it is useful from a practical sense, in my experience. Take that what you will. It's more useful, I think. I mean, it puts you in contact with people who run communities, but there are other ways of doing that. I mean, we have that on the Discord. We've started to build out our community stuff there, and that I want to grow the community hub there to get questions asked and produce videos off the back of that to help people do stuff and to provide more digital assets you can download and use to grow your own community and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing that too. But yeah, the job of a walk-all is a thankless task. It's not, but it sounded good. So yeah, anyway, I think the site outage is this weekend, to dive back on that briefly. I think that is just the next phase of Corvosphere, and will that be good? If it's tested, it will be, but the fact that they took it offline and put it back online again, the site as is this weekend, doesn't inspire confidence, does it? Let's be honest. But we shall see. We shall see. I am hopeful, and Corvus Belli, I have a lot of love for the company. I do. There's no two ways about it. I want to see them succeed, and I hope that they do. I hope that this new Corvosphere system is the next step in the evolution of building the community and driving the community and expanding things for them. So we shall see. It's certainly an interesting time for them, and I hope it's successful, but we shall see. We shall see. Who knows? Who knows? Kaz, you made it. Outstanding. There is, in about 20 minutes I'm going, so you know you've made it. Well done, Kaz. Kaz, it's a genuine pleasure to have you here, my friend. You joined me topping off with the strong stuff. Joe, a pleasure as ever. Thank you very much. I will speak to you soon, my friend. Kaz joins and Joe leaves. Are they the same person? No, they're not. They're not the same person, but it was good. It was good. Have a good evening. Kind of made it. Kind of made it's good. Your presence is much appreciated and welcome. And for the last time, I'm going to shout out, we have a super chat target at the top of the thing up here. Done 2 out of 5. When we have done 5, when I've had 5 super chats, we're going to do a draw of those 5 people that do a super chat, and they will get a STL of the objective room and the objective markers from Sorcerer Studios from the Dice Gods for being so awesome and supporting the channel. So if you want to be with the chance of that, then a quick super chat from the top and you could get it. We're trying out super chats and seeing if it works. That's what it boils down to. Just seeing if you guys like it. So, you know, it's cool. Anyway, we have more coming actually from Sorcerermen as well, because they do a range of STLs for a modular fantasy kind of structure. Kind of, you can build your own buildings by gluing this stuff together. So I'm going to look at getting the STLs for that. Dark Myth, I think it's called, their Dark Myth series. I'm going to do that and then use that for building Warcrow terrain, effectively, because we have some of the cardboard terrain from Battle Systems. Kaz, that's very kind. That's not the point, but thank you very much. Your presence is enough. You're already a member, so thank you. That's very kind. That's very kind indeed. So, yeah, we have Battle Systems terrain, which is the cardboard pre-coloured stuff, and I want to do that. But I also want to get some stuff from Sorcerer Studios, the STLs from them, and print some of that off and use that in the Warcrow videos that we have coming up for the Traveller's Guide videos when that drops. So, because painting a full army of Scions of Yaldabaoth is not enough, I need to paint a full table of terrain as well. Because thank you, Chris, appreciate that. Got one more to go. One more bit of love, and then I'm buying somebody some STLs. How cool is that? That's very awesome. Thank you very much, chaps. We've got 43 minutes until it's done, but we only have one more to go, so I think I'm giving somebody an STL tonight. Don't know who, don't know how, but we're doing it. It'll be great. So I'm on the lots of things I'm talking about tonight, of stuff that's coming up, but also I'm going to do this one last time as well. Don't forget to join in and follow us on Twitch, because I want to get that moving too, because Twitch is where we're going to do streams of me painting. Now, okay, you're just showing off. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris, that's very kind. I appreciate that greatly. You're a scholar and a gentleman. Oh dear Lord. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Love the Warcrow, love painting it. I'm right up that. But Little Stinker, we have much more Warcrow. As I say, battle reports and everything. So that's brilliant. Cool. I will do a draw. And I'm gonna put Little Stinker in there too. I'm gonna do the 6 of you because that's amazing. That's incredibly kind. Thank you so much, all of you. I'll do that draw when I finish later. And we'll see who wins the STLs. That'll be brilliant. Do we like doing draws? Was that fun? Was that a good thing? I don't know. Should I do should I do the STLs for, I don't even know how much they are, the Dark Myth stuff? I'll give myself a breakdown now. Let's have a look. Sorcerer Studios, because there's the Dark Myth stuff, Dark Myth Village. Should we look at this together? Because that might be more interesting. Can I actually show you this? The problem is I can't look at it until I've actually switched, which is very frustrating. No, I don't think I can. Oh, I know what I can do. But bear with me. I know this is incredibly exciting. You lucky ducks to be watching me looking at this rather than talking to you. But is that the one? No, that's not the one. I don't know. We'll do that another time. I'm not going to do that tonight. We're not going to do it tonight. We've done enough. You guys have been incredibly kind. You draw daily, yes. Welcome back from your meeting. Was it a successful one, Neil? Did it go well? Hang on, you are wired up to an ECG and you're also... Don't rest, man. What's wrong with you? You draw daily. Yes, you do. Robin is an artiste. So the fact that he draws daily is, you know, one of them things. One of them things. Yay! Should I start another goal? I'm going to do 5, and we're going to do it in 30 minutes. I don't know. See which has the count. No. I can do that. We are going to give away the... Brace yourselves. Cypher Base of Software Studios. Poof. There we go. If you guys are loving it, there's another goal for you. The bases that I'm talking about, where are they? They're the ones that I'm using currently, or working on currently. So, these beautiful things. Off. Let's have a look. So these ones. Started working on their base toppers, actually printed by Robin in chat there. So you kind of got a whole load of different styles, and they've got sand ones and all the rest of it. I have to say, as a set, 25, 40 and 55 millimeter come in the sets, and they're multiple different ones for each size. So they all have their own unique look and feel. There's some 40s. Can you see the 40 under there? A little fan. I'm a fan of that one. But like in the same set. And pipe work. So I was very impressed by them actually, I have to say. I mean, the print work that Robin did was crap, but even so, the quality shone through despite his shoddy workmanship, which I really did appreciate. Devour of Crayons, printer of bases. Outstanding. You just landed the big contract. Congratulations. Yes, but he's in a different... Oh, thank you very much. So you've won a decent contract, and therefore suddenly you're like, we're going to splash. We're going to splooge. It's going to be... I don't even know how much they are. I've probably just screwed myself over. You find out. But miniature bases. I think they were called Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi. Yeah, screwed yourself over. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. I might just do the 25. No, I'm going to do. I said I'd do the full set. I'm going to do the full set. Like 20 euros, but it's all good. They are beautiful, I have to say. And they have a lot of range in them, like that's like this guy here. It's just a nice, they're really nice. And the one thing I was concerned about is that you'd end up with multiple of the same one and all the rest of it, but there's so many different ones for all the different sizes that actually it works. It's not that bad. A little bit of work. Blissful Badger, thank you so much for following along over on Twitch. That's incredibly kind. That pushes us to 3 followers, and I want to get to 10 followers on Twitch. I think that's when we get to 10 followers on Twitch. That's the point I'm going to start doing the painting streams and stuff like that over there. So that's great. And Lil Stinker, thank you so much. We're out of 4. That's amazing. You're a legend. That is incredibly kind. So anyway, we've got 11 minutes to clear the counter, and then I need to go to bed because it's late here. But. So yes, we have much to look forward to. I think all being well, later on this week we'll get the first of the Warcrow series. We even have a new intro for that, which is kind of funky. I'm dead excited about revealing that. It uses the same music, but I've just, done it a bit differently. That got finalised today. So we have that coming up later this week. And then, as I say, if I can, it will be the last or the second part of the sort of beginner's guides to choosing your army for Infinity on Friday. If I can't, it's going to be a tactics video, probably on lieutenants, maybe on specialist. See how I feel. I've got those keyed up and ready to go. So The Rekka is amazing. I'm looking forward to... how long do you think that's going to take you to paint? Is that going to take long? I need to finish off Yamabushi Boy. Ah, thank you, Chris. You superstar. Thank you so much. That is incredibly kind. Thank you. Dear Lord. Thank you. I'm completely weirded out by this whole experience of like streaming and YouTubing. I can't get my head around the fact that, you know, I have Patreons and members who are subscribing to the stuff that I put out, and yeah, it's crazy. I can't square that circle. It makes my head hurt. But anyway, thank you. That's incredibly kind. Yeah, how long is it going to, Neil? How long is it going to take you to paint that Rekka? Do you think? Anyway, a couple of sessions. The base colours and modulation is done. Yeah, you did that with an airbrush. I saw on Discord. Again, if you're a member or a patron and you haven't, jump onto the Discord. There's 30 of us over there now, which is quite bonkers. And then next time I can forget to let you know that we're live streaming until about an hour and 20 minutes into the whole thing. So that's exciting. But yeah, if you are a member or a patron, you have automatically got access to it. So just come join the party. And if you, dear Lord Kaz, what? Thank you very much. That's very kind. That is incredibly. Thank you. It's just that's the thing. That's the thing that happened. Dear Lord. I expect you mean to tell me that the IS2 Hydra is rich? No, he's not. I spare him an ear. You mean to tell me that the IS2 is the one not bad Italeri kit for bolt action? I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I still have that dick, pardon my language, up there that I need to paint. It is the face of a... It's the face of a blow mind. I find it so strange. I really do. I always have done with this kind of thing. So like I mentioned that I'm a writer. I've won several awards for my writing. Very strange to do that. That people like my stuff enough to do this, and the fact that you are out there supporting what I'm doing. I'm talking about the thing that I love. You know, all day, and it's brilliant, and I love it so much. I'm so grateful for the support that you're giving me. It's just brilliant. Thank you so much. It's poof. Fried. Oh God. So, for those who don't speak Dutch, patat and friet mean fries or chips if you're in England. The two words for the same thing. One's Belgian and one's it's Dutch. Yeah, it's a complicated thing, but there's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I know Rubicon kits are the way forward, but when I started Bolt Action, I wanted to do the newbie experience of I've started with Warlord stuff. How does that feel? How does that go? And it's various degrees of disappointment is the straight answer to that, to be honest. But yeah. Do I hear 30? What's 30? What 30? What 30? Anyway, let's get Stone from 2017. It may not be the best, but I think it's all right. I'll send a pic of what's that later. I look forward to seeing it. The IS-2. The Russians, the Soviets are being redone for Bolt Action currently, and I'm resisting like a good one because I'd love to. I would. That would be so much fun. But I have my German army is not finished yet. I have a British army that's not been touched. I mean, they are literally grey plastic soldiers. They have not been touched at all. So I need to do all those, and all the armour for that, and all the armour for my Germans. I'm not getting the Soviets too. I want to, but I'm not doing it yet. So Kaz, that literally made my brain itch. Thank you so much. I too am good at the English. Yeah. Anyway, I see this from the mystery box, hence why I'm building it. Yeah, so if you haven't seen, for those of you who don't know, with bolt action, Warlord, who makes bolt action, do a mystery box where you pay, I think it's 120 euros, and then you get roughly double that, but you don't know what you're going to get. You can choose, last time you could choose your nation, and they'd kind of be like, ta-da! And lots of people got whole armies, just whole armies together, and it was, yeah, pretty bonkers and really good value. And I Spearmaneer did one and ended up with loads of Soviet goodies, including the IS-2, which is huge tank, big, huge tank. Not as big as a Tiger II, but it is pretty big. Anyway, Conscript. Would I say Southern Terriers can be a bit cheaper? Yes. So the Itinerary kits, which are the ones that make for Warlord, for those who don't know, or have made, sort of do, they are cheaper, but they're also cheaper. And it does show that they're cheaper. And that's a real problem, the amount of gaps and spaces and stuff. We've talked about this to a great extent. I've done a whole video. Yeah, it's completely nuts. So they are cheaper. And I think I bought a Panzer III off of you. I didn't need that second Panzer III, just so we're absolutely clear, Mart, on this one. I didn't need that second Panzer III. I love it though. I need to paint it. It's very cute. Love a bit of Panzer III. Not as good as a Panzer IV. Definitely not as good as a Tiger. Definitely not as good as a Stug. Stug is peak. Anyway, but it is cheap and it's nice. And words are hard. Words are very difficult. It has to be said. You'd be amazed at the amount of people that have issues with words. I'm going to start having issues with words soon because I'm getting tired, but for the time being. 30 for the next super chats. Yeah. Let's not go completely bonkers. It's very generous and very kind. That's just, yes. Anyway, thanks, guys. Every version of the Panzer III, just in case. Now, you see, I agree entirely. I do need every version of pretty much every tank. It's a problem. It really is an issue. Yeah, well, unless you're playing up against Mart, then Stugs are not so good because he's a bit of a gamey one. Wouldn't play against him, boy. He's a bit, you know, one of those players. He's a bit one of those guys. Anyway, we don't need any of these toys, but they are fun. Well, the great thing is, you see, Blissful Badger. You see, I hear you, but you see, right? Bear with me. I've got a YouTube channel, so I technically have to. I wouldn't, there's been so many moments that I just wouldn't, and then I do, because I have to for you guys. I do it for you. Is anyone buying this? Because I'm buying everything, no. But no, there have actually been moments where, because of the channel, that I've got off and bought things that I wouldn't necessarily. I'm going to do this on the phone because I don't want to play around. My OBS before I came on, so the software that I use for streaming, was being a bit of a dick, technical term. So I don't want to play around with it too much, but I do want to show you. Where do I want to go? There. So there's something that I bought recently, which I did exclusively for the channel, which I think is brilliant. But I'm going to show it to you, and then you'll be like, yeah, you bought that for us. I did. I absolutely did. It was entirely for you guys. I did it so you didn't have to. So what we've got coming, and Robino knows this one. Where are you? There. What we've done is, right, no, do the thing. This is exciting watching me use my phone. Amazing. So, I got one of these bad boys in order. That's a war rig for Hegemony of Immersig for Warchrome. Now, that miniature is bigger than any tag in Infinity, so I'm guessing it's kind of like, it's a big boy. I bought it for you guys. I did. Anyone buying that? I'm not really buying that either. Anyway, so we've got that coming. Where were we? Stig's always been good. Good balance between firepower and cost. They are a good balance, and we do love them greatly. Stigs are always fantastic. Last call. Even the turret has been quite a bit of a play. What does he suppose? Ice Bear, you might have found the decent bolt action kit from Intel RA. Oh, the Ariadne action pack. I was talking to somebody today about buying Meravision. They're selling a whole load of Meravisions. And Meravision was one of my main factions for a while. They were. And I loved them. And I missed them so much. But they're just in such a rough place. And until I know what they're going to do with the rules for Meravisions, for Ariadne, for Infinity, there's no way I can spend any money on it. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, because Ariadne is in a bit of a rough spot, if all they do is make it sort of an N4 converted to N5 faction, it's not worth it, because Ariadne is in such a poor place because of that. If they N5 the profiles from the ground up, outstanding. But I still don't think it's going to work from the perspective of one of the big things of Ariadne is bringing a large volume of munchable, crunchable troopers to the field, and you can't do that in M4 and M5 because you're limited to 15. So whereas I used to bring 20, 24, 25 troopers in Meravision, you just can't do that anymore. It's highly disappointing, but it is what it is. So, Little Stinky, you are welcome. I did it selflessly, and I take this weight on with the gravity that it entails. In truth, I really want to do a unboxing video and a actual look at the miniature, because the scale and scope of that thing is phenomenal, and I want to see it in hand. I have a Hegemony army, and I want to put it in that army and see how it plays. And I want to put battle reports out for you guys to be like, right, Shell, here's the war rig, doing the war rig business, setting fire to stuff and all that kind of stuff. Got to be done. Has to be done. Ariadne is ideal painting army at the minute. Yeah, there's a lot that I love about Ariadne, because you've gone Cosmoflot, haven't you? And Cosmoflot is a very cool army. It's got some really unique stuff in it. I love that about it. Yeah. I can see, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with it and how it does on the table. I think it's going to do well because people haven't seen it before. But I've seen Ariadne before, and I think, we play? I think I'm going to chew it up for you. So go out there, beat the other guys, and then come play with me. It would be great. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, the kit for... Oh. That just broke. Sorry, the chat just broke on me for a second. Yeah, the Humber kit. That Humber kit is the one that I have up there, and that I did a video on that. I hated that kit so much. It needs to get in the bin. Really, really hated that kit. Still do. Anyway. Good to know that the IS2 kit is so good. Yeah, who knew. You've done prepping, Cos. Well done. Outstanding. You had a lot of miniatures, so I'm impressed that you did it, so... Yeah, they are cool. Sorry for hosting your stream. No, don't. Right. Hang on. Right. Neil, how did you do against Cos? Was it fun? Were they fun to play? What did you think? What were your feelings on that one? The Wolfman dog is intense, I have to say. Ice Bayonet, no, don't. This bolt action is welcome and played, so bring it. It's always welcome. And what I don't want to do, what I want the Dice Gods to be, is a place for all of the systems that are out there that don't have a GW brand on the box. There are plenty of places for GW brands. This is not one of them. So your Moonstones, your Bolt Action, which I play, the Flames of War, which I play, they are all welcome here. Very much so. And I want to do more on them. And I hate this when people who are doing YouTube say this, but it's kind of the point. As I generate more revenue from this, I can afford to spend more time on it. And as I spend more time on it, we're going to do more stuff. So we're kind of almost up to 2 videos in the stream per week at the moment. That's pretty much where we are, I think. Should do that this week. Should do that next week. What I kind of want to do is be at a point where it's like Bolt Action one day, Warcrow one day, Infinity one day, another system, another day. Eldfall Chronicles needs to be in there too. So you have something to watch every day, and then battle reports interspaced with all of it. I've got a battle report for Infinity at the moment that's literally shot. It's been shot for a month. But editing that together, last time we did a battle report in M4, Lilith edited that. It took better part of 30 hours of editing to pull it together and to get it to a point where I was happy with it, because I have a very clear vision of how I want that to be. And I can't do that and retain the frequency of videos and and live streams and bits on social media and There's a sort of physical limit of time that I have. So the aim is to get to a point where the revenue stream from all of this lets me get myself a video editor that I can go, battle report, needs to look like this, go. But that's money, and I have to justify the amount of time that I spend on it first before I can justify giving someone else revenue. So battle reports, I think, are going to have to wait until I've got an editor. It's just so much suffers. It's such a sink, you know, because we're going to do the battle reports for, having said that, we can do the battle reports for Warcrow, but that is a much lighter experience, and I have an idea of how I can do that and make it really simple. But the way, like when I watch Bolt Action battle reports, there's certain key things that I can see that every channel misses, and I want to put them into the battle report when we do it. I really want the battle report to come out and define the way it should be done. And the same with Infinity, and the same with Flames of War, and this, so I have standards. It's a problem. Always fun to play against Ariadne. Yeah, I think going up to 4 army sectors is the right decision by the end of the year. Blissful Badger, this seems both reasonable and proportional. Which 4 are you going for? Discuss. Always fun to play against Ariadne. Yes, it is. They are always fun. Have you dipped into Conquest Last Argument of Kings? Nope, I have not. I know nothing about it. I've heard bits, but no, Ice Bear. It's not about following the revenue, because Bolt Action. So why don't we do more Bolt Action? Why don't I do more about Bolt Action? So one of the biggest issues that I have with doing Bolt Action is I've spoken, or I've tried to speak repeatedly to Warlord and said, look, I want to be on board. I want to work with you. Can you work with me? And they haven't responded. They've just, I think the last bit of sensible feedback that I had from Warlord about their product range was when I said, do you have any posters that I can put behind me when I'm talking about your product? And they went, no. Oh, thanks. So they already have their streamers and their videographers, their YouTubers and influencers and all this sort of jazz that they're working with. And they don't seem to be interested in working with me. Now, what that means is I will then get access to the Armies of the new releases books when they go out into retail. And by that point, all of the streamers, Warlord themselves, they've discussed everything inside that book. I don't really have anything sensible to add to the conversation. Like, I want to do an Armies of GB, and I want to do an Armies of Soviet, and I want to do an Armies of the US. But you can just open your army builder and it's there. What do I realistically have to add to that conversation that's valuable? None. I've got nothing to say that somebody hasn't already said. You know, we've done things with like product releases, the army box, the new infantry box that came out for the Germans at the start of the year. I did that because one thing that people weren't talking about was how to build it. You know, what different options can you do? How can they fit together? What can you actually get out of this box? What does that look like as a list? That's what I put together there, because that was a conversation worth having. But Armies of GB is everything you've seen on all of the other reviews I agree with them, it's not really a conversation that's worth having. So we're kind of neutered by that side of things. I'm contemplating doing a series of getting started with this army, getting started with that army, you know, or this kind of thing. But that doesn't, bolt action doesn't lend itself too well to that, because then there's a discussion of, are you playing competitively? Are you playing historically? Are you playing ahistorically? What are you trying to achieve? So that's a really broad type conversation. I haven't come around to a way that I can structure that in a way that I feel is useful yet. So with bolt action, the main thing I think I want to do is maybe some tactical videos, maybe a learn to play video at some point, or series of learn to play videos, and then battle reports. But battle reports, time, energy, money, not money, time, energy is the channel. Oh yeah, money for editor. So that's why we're not doing more bolt action, because yeah, I don't have a sensible conversation to have with it. So hope that makes more sense. Make bet reps takes so much editing. They really do. And like with the way that, I don't know if you've seen the N4 battle report that I did, but we tracked every order that was spent as it was spent, and the objective points that were done as they were done, and all this kind of stuff. It's an intense amount of like image editing and manipulation and blah 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 blah, and it's a chunk of work. So yeah, that's why I choose to do it on 30 minutes max. Yeah, and I get that. I get with limiting the size of it and all the rest of it, but with a system like Infinity, which, you know, is our main system currently, you have to track, so you have the orders and you have to track each order, where that goes and what the resolution of that is, because you don't know which ones are going to be key. And sometimes it's only apparent when the game is over, like, ah, that was the turning point. When you went left and not right, that's where the game changed. That was the moment. And you kind of need to pull that together and make all that visible, in my opinion, so that a new player or somebody who's interested in the system can hop into the battle report and be like, right, this is what's occurring. And a veteran can go, yeah, gotcha. Totally get it. I see the thought process behind that as well as what physically happens. So yeah, there's that. But you need to see some games. Yes, so if I have my way, Kaz, what you will see on this channel is Bolt Action, Flames of War, Elfwall Chronicles, Infinity, Warcrow, Moonstone will be on here too, Drop Zone Commander, Drop Fleet Commander. Yeah, those will be the 8 that come on this channel, because I used to be a Hawk Talon, so that was the guys Hawk used to make Drop Zone and Drop Fleet before they then sold to TT Combat in the UK. If you've not seen them before, what I love about Drop Zone is I think it's a 5 or 8 millimeter scale game, but it's a lot of dynamism. So you have literally troops coming in little drop ships, taking objectives, and like you can take them off again and you can redeploy over here, and there's a lot of dynamism and movement. It's really interesting and cool. So I want to get those all on the channel. I want to get them all here. That's this week, so we shall see. No, don't apologise. The thing is, when you look at something from the outside, it can be really clear. It's really obvious why somebody wouldn't do that. There's 2 minutes left if anybody wants to, so I need 2 more super chats to give away those STLs. If anybody wants to get involved on that, that would be fab. No, don't do that. That would be great, because then I can give away some bases, which would be brilliant. But no, you've not, it's not about misjudging. When you look from the outside of it, like a channel, it can be really clear and really obvious what's going on. But you don't see all the stuff that goes behind, because there's so much work that's involved in it. Poor me. There's so much work. But like today I wasn't technically working, but I had a call with a member of a company, a member of a PR company. I did some setup with a different company, and this kind of thing. You're constantly involved in these conversations. Thank you, 3 Men in the Shed. Thank you, Neil. That's very kind. You don't see all the stuff that goes on, and I've tried repeatedly to engage with Warlord and be like, look, can we do a thing? And they just aren't. So fair enough. You know, there's only so far I can push it. You've got military orders, thinking about Hack, Yu Ching, and JSA. all good choices, very varied as well. If you go hack and you end up going for assassin, there we go. Thank you very much. Woohoo! 2 goals in 1 evening. Thank you so much. That's incredibly kind. Legend. I'll do the draw for that as well. There we go. Giving away 2 sets of STLs tonight. Yes. Nice. So hack is a very different play style to military orders, very much so, especially if you go for assassin. You have nothing to say. Thank you, Strange Director. I appreciate that. And I love your name. Every time I see it, it makes me happy in inappropriate ways. Wildly inappropriate ways. But there we go. Right, sorry. We were going through your list, Blissful Badger. Yu Ching, yeah, Invincible Army is incredibly strong right now. White Banner has always been strong. JSA, again, very different playstyle. I would say if you go for Invincible Army with Yu Ching, that's very similar in many ways to military orders. They're very similar beasts. So maybe go White Banner for that, because White Banner is the odd one out for Yu Ching, very much so. With JSA, Oban is interesting, but I'm a Shinden fan, so I'd highly recommend you go for Shinden Butai, because peak, gorgeous miniatures as well. What to buy next videos, a nice way to expand what's in the box videos. Yeah, they are, but again, what to buy next videos for bolt action, historically, which theatre, which era? Or are you just going competitive? Are you just going for funsies, you know? Because a balanced list is not necessarily historical, which can be a challenge in itself, so. Don't have 3 now. Military orders, KCF are still facts. I'm buying into. Nice. Good call. Kaz. This is what we like to see. Lots and lots of miniatures all over the place. The main objective with starting this channel is to make sure that I'm not the one with the biggest pile of shame by making you guys have huge piles of shame too. That's what we're aiming to do. Neil, thank you so much for helping me hit target. That's incredibly kind. And Strange Tractor, it's good to see you here, and thank you so much. That was very kind too. Totally the best looking in the faction. Yeah, Shinden are gorgeous. The miniatures are stunning, even like the remotes, but you start getting into like the Tanuki as miniatures. They're freaking cool. The posing and just like the little herd stuff is just great. And even, I mean, the Senku are an absolute waste of time, but as miniatures, but they are great. They're really, really nice. They're really characterful. They've got a real distinct flavour and look to them. I love them. They're phenomenal. They really are phenomenal, I have to say. Which reminds me, I have so much painting to do. Oh, life is terrible. My life is terrible. I don't know how I cope, really. I should get a medal. So, yes. Right. Anyway, at what is getting on for 11:30. Every time, so the first time I did this, I was like, I'm going to do like a very short amount of time, and then I did longer. And tonight I was going to do 2 hours, and it's 2.5 hours. It's because it's lovely talking to you guys. They do get people playing. They do. But they're just, if you're talking about Senku, they're just, it's just not a thing. I mean, I've got 2 in my list, but they're not great. They really are not great. But, right. So, I need to do I'm going to do 2 draws. So, I need to figure out who's going to win the 2 sets of STLs. I'll do those offline, and I will let you guys know. Thank you so much for that. That was incredibly kind. I will I'll put on Patreon and on YouTube who won out of the super thanks. Incredible. Thank you so much. So who won those, and then I'll contact you each to get you your prizes. So that's really cool. I will be back here next week, same time. So please come along and join with that one. And I think I've got some more announcements next week, which are going to be really cool if everything comes off, including, hopefully, how you can win even more miniatures. Bear with me for that one. But thank you so much for spending your time with me. It has been lovely to see you all and to hang out with you all. I hope this has been cool. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. But for now, I'm going to go off and sleep. stick my head in a bucket, and be amazed that you guys enjoy spending time with me. And yeah, have a good rest of the week. Look forward to videos coming soon, and take care. And I will see you all again soon. Thank you very much, and good night.